All right, I'm Charger Dude 95, and I'm joined by DSFL commentator and analyst extraordinaire, Phil Nunziata. You know of him for years and years and years for the Dream Season Football League. So the New England Patriots play the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC Championship game of this DSFL 6. We all know it's the series to determine the greatest dynasty of all time. So you've got to be really, really good for an extended period of time to even enter this Final Four conversation. And throughout this simulation, these are the four best teams in the AFC. The Steelers and the Steel Curtain, we all know how great that defense is, plays a team in the New England Patriots of the 2010s that we know how great they were as a dynasty. But when you look at their roster, there are only a couple of players that even have the talent level of the rest of these guys on these other dynasties. Brady, Gronk, Gilmore, I guess, maybe Steven Gostkowski. There really aren't a lot of Hall of Fame players on this New England dynasty. Are they good enough, Phil, to compete with these other dynasty teams?
Well, Nick, first and foremost, thanks for having me here. I'm looking forward to our sixth Dream Bowl that we get to call together. Very much looking forward to that. But I'll start my answer with something you touched on there. Just to be in not only this Final Four, but in this season of the Dream Season, you have to be a dynasty. So to be a dynasty in the first place, the talent has to be there. Dynasties don't happen overnight for the most part. And in most years where the Patriots won the Super Bowl and you line up their roster with the team they played, win, lose, or draw, on paper, they usually weren't the better team. They didn't have flashier players. This particular collection of the dynasty players has the benefit of Darrelle Revis, the 1-year rental that he was on New England where they did win the Super Bowl against Seattle. They have the benefit of him being on there. But like you said, not necessarily Hall of Fame players, but the Dream Season is like the regular NFL is a team sport. And while they on paper it might not match up, that's never stopped them before. And it'd be hard for me to pick against them for that reason now.
Well, what's really cool for New England is that they have, in my opinion, the GOAT at quarterback, Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time. To me, I believe Jerry Rice, we'll talk about him later on in this podcast. But in terms of greatest quarterback, I believe it's Tom Brady. You're not of that same mindset. And why do you not believe that Brady is the best in favor of Joe Montana?
Well, this could be a whole hour podcast down the line, but it's to me sometimes it is a generational thing. I think that has a lot to do with it. I think some people look at the record, what's better, 4-0 versus 6-3 or whatever Brady is, and the fact that Montana never lost a big game, and while Brady has won more than he's lost, like we've seen him walk off a Super Bowl field without a new Lombardi, and we've never seen that with Joe Montana. So we do have the opportunity, if some of these games go the right way, we might get the answer of who's better, and that would be pretty exciting to see.
We also have never seen Montana throw an interception in a Super Bowl game, which is pretty interesting. That could be the matchup of the Dream Bowl 6. Montana and the greatest players in the history of that dynasty with San Francisco, and of course the 2010s Patriots with Tom Brady. It should be fascinating. First, the Patriots have to get past that steel curtain and the 70s Steelers.